He never scored a goal, never ran a sprint, never even touched the court. But if you ask anyone on that team who carried them through the hardest season of their lives, they won't name the captain. They'll name the kid in the wheelchair. This isn't your typical sports story. There's no buzzer beater glory, no Cinderella ending. It's about the boy who lost his legs but never lost his vision, the one who never played a single minute but left a mark deeper than any stat sheet. You think you know where this story is going, but you don't, not yet, because what happens next will challenge everything you think you know about strength, leadership, and what it truly means to carry a team. So keep watching, because Jamal's story builds to a moment that no one saw coming, a moment that changed not just the game, but every person who ever doubted him. By the end of this story, you'll understand why they say, the ones we overlook are often the ones holding us up. His name is Jamal, and what he gave that team changed all of them. But it didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen without pain. So stay with us, because the twist that brought a team to its feet, it started with a kid who couldn't stand. Jamal grew up in Detroit in a neighborhood where everyone played ball. Basketball wasn't just a game, it was currency. Kids earned respect through three-pointers and fast breaks. And Jamal had all the makings of a star: quick reflexes, fast feet, a natural shot that had other kids calling him Jay before he even hit double digits. But at age 9, things started to change. He began stumbling more often, had trouble climbing stairs. At first, it was easy to ignore, just a growth spurt, the doctor said. Then came the real diagnosis: muscular dystrophy, a genetic disorder that slowly weakens the muscles with no cure. At first, it was just hard to keep up. Then came the cane, then the chair. By 13, Jamal couldn't walk anymore. Basketball didn't just slip away. It was ripped from him inch by inch, season by season. The hardest part wasn't losing the game. It was losing the future he saw for himself. He had dreamed of leading the team, of hearing the crowd chant his name. Instead, he watched from the bleachers as the boys he once outran sprinted past him without a glance. But he still showed up. Every practice, every game, rain or snow, he memorized plays, studied opponents, became a living, breathing basketball encyclopedia. He wasn't trying to be noticed anymore. He just couldn't stay away. At school, he was the quiet one. But on the sidelines, he was loud, louder than the coach sometimes. Everyone joked that he had wheels instead of legs, but a coach's brain instead of a heart. He didn't laugh, because deep down, he still wanted to play. But even deeper, a new fire had started to burn, a quiet belief that maybe, just maybe, there was still a way to be part of the game. That belief didn't grow in isolation. It was fed by the people who never let Jamal disappear into silence. His family was his first team. His mother, a nurse, became his fiercest advocate, learning everything about muscular dystrophy and fighting to make sure Jamal had access to the best care. His father, a factory worker, built ramps by hand at home and rewired the van so Jamal could ride to games in comfort and dignity. His little sister, Layla, memorized every play he designed and tested drills with him in their living room, pretending to be both offense and defense. They didn't always understand what he was going through, but they never stopped showing up, not once. And his neighborhood, tough but loyal. Some kids drifted away when he lost the use of his legs, but others leaned in. His best friend Malik would push his chair through snowbanks just to get him to practice. The team captain, Darnell, started asking Jamal for play advice even before the coach did. Jamal's world didn't shrink when he lost his legs. It deepened. Everyone who stuck by him became part of something bigger, a quiet circle of belief that even if Jamal couldn't play, he could still matter. He could still lead. In his sophomore year, the team got a new coach, Coach Daniels. Former pro, all grit, all strategy, no time for hand-holding. He ran tryouts like boot camp. Drills until you dropped. Silence when you spoke out of turn. Jamal rolled up to the gym anyway, parked his chair at the edge of the baseline, and took notes like he was prepping for a final exam. Coach Daniels raised an eyebrow. Here to watch? Jamal looked him dead in the eye. Here to contribute. The players chuckled under their breath. Some thought he was joking, but that day, Jamal did what he always did. He noticed things. He whispered to the point guard that his footwork was off by half a step, told the center that his pivot left was slower than his right. By the end of the scrimmage, players were asking him for tips. Coach Daniels watched it all, didn't say much. At the end of the week, while the rest of the team waited for the roster announcement, Daniels called Jamal into his office. I don't have a jersey for you, he said, but I've got something better. I want you on this team, officially. And just like that, Jamal became part of the roster. No number, no jersey, just one title, team strategist. Some people rolled their eyes, said it was charity, but Coach Daniels knew better. Jamal wasn't there for pity. He was there to win. And by midseason, no one was laughing. Because Jamal didn't just watch the game, he read it like a book only he could understand. Jamal called plays like a chess master. He noticed things no one else did. A defender's twitch before a steal. A shooter's limp after halftime. He studied game tape late into the night and texted strategies to the captain at 2 a.m. He created entire playbooks for different scenarios. Overtime pressure, foul trouble, zone defenses. His notes looked more like military battle plans than basketball plays. During timeouts, players leaned in like he held the playbook of the universe. He wasn't just a strategist, he was a lifeline. He built custom drills for teammates who struggled, adjusting to their strengths and weaknesses. He stayed after practice to encourage the bench warmers, reminding them their time would come. He helped the shooting guard fix his release, watched film with the freshmen until they understood their role. He talked the point guard through panic attacks before away games, showed the power forward how to breathe through a slump, celebrated every rebound, not just the points. He saw the whole court, on and off the hardwood. When two players nearly quit after a rough loss, it was Jamal who rolled into the locker room and said, "You don't leave family over a bad day." They stayed, and word started spreading beyond the school. Local reporters asked to interview him. Coaches from other schools began studying his strategies. One even called to offer him a junior assistant position while he was still a student. And when they made it to the playoffs for the first time in 6 years, every player pointed at Jamal during the post-game interview. Not the coach, not the captain. Jamal. But winning brings pressure, and pressure exposes cracks. Late that season, Jamal's health declined. His muscles, already weak, began to seize with cramps. He started missing school. Some days he couldn't even lift a pen. He tried to hide it, smiled through the pain, hid the swelling, took shorter breaths when he talked. But Coach Daniels noticed. Everyone did. "Maybe it's time to rest," the coach said one afternoon. Jamal shook his head. The team needs me. You can't carry a team from a hospital bed, someone joked in the locker room. He didn't smile because he already felt the weight of slipping away. At night, he stared at the ceiling, afraid that the next flare-up might be the one that takes it all away, his voice, his mind, his place on the team. Then came the regional final. 3 minutes left, tie game. The gym was electric. Suddenly, the captain twisted his ankle on a fast break, went down hard, couldn't stand. The team huddled in confusion. No one knew what to do until the assistant coach handed Jamal the clipboard. His hands shook, but his mind didn't. He drew up a play in 15 seconds. Director, smart, bold. The players ran it. It worked. They scored. They defended. They won. And when they lifted the trophy, they didn't hoist it for stats. They hoisted it for heart, for Jamal. He couldn't run the court, but in that moment, he owned it. Jamal never played a single minute. He never dunked, never blocked a shot. But he carried that team in a way no stat sheet can measure. He carried them through fear, through failure, through doubt. He turned sidelines into strategy rooms, turned doubt into fuel, and turned his wheelchair into a symbol, not of limitation, but of leadership. When he finally graduated, the school retired a jersey with his name on it, the number 00 for the player who didn't play. The gym erupted that day. Players cried, coaches clapped. And Jamal? He just smiled, quiet, proud, knowing he'd written a different kind of legacy. Today, Jamal mentors high school athletes across the country, not just those in chairs, but any player who thinks their worth is measured in points. He speaks at schools, coaches at summer camps, and responds to hundreds of DMs from young athletes struggling to find their place. He teaches them to lead from the bench, to speak up even when it's hard, to show up even when it hurts, to love the game enough to give it everything, even if the game gives nothing back, and to believe, truly believe, that influence isn't about what you do on the court, it's about who you are off it. They called him the kid who couldn't walk, the one who'd never suit up, never hear the roar of the crowd for a buzzer beater. But Jamal, he carried the weight of 10. He turned silence into strategy, hardship into hope, and a wheelchair into a war room. And in the season that changed everything, the player who never played became the reason they all believed. Because sometimes the strongest one in the room is the one who refuses to leave it, the one who rolls in when everyone else walks out, the one who leads without limelight, the one who proves that greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers from the edge of the court and changes the game. If this story moved you, subscribe to Able in every way. We share real stories that remind the world that ability comes in many forms. And if you know someone who leads with heart instead of headlines, share this with them. They might not see themselves on the scoreboard, but maybe, just maybe, they've been carrying the whole team all along.